All right, guys. Fuck around and find out. Let's do it. You guys ready? Give me a I'm just gonna say fuck. I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble if I keep saying fuck over and over, but I don't like saying F around, okay? I'd rather say fuck around, okay? It's just a word, all right? It's not gonna hurt anybody, okay? Everybody rub oil all over yourself, okay? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna give you, and I'm gonna clip this out too, so I don't know, maybe I'll get in YouTube trouble, but whatever. So I'm gonna give you 12 fuck around and find out movies. Now let's set the table first. What does that mean? Okay, because I did see some people posting movies that aren't necessarily fuck around and find out. Okay, because the definition of that type of movie is when the protagonist goes into a situation where they know there's a possible chance of danger. You know, that's set up in Act 1. They go in there, there's a possible chance of danger, but they go anyway, okay? Now we have a fuck around and find out movie, all right? Because they find out, okay? That's what makes this fun. So, technically, just your standard slasher movie, if the characters, like I saw some people mention Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one. I don't think, FAAFO, I like that, FAAFO. Okay, FAAFO. If a character goes into a house in Texas, but they don't know that there's danger there, they're just going to get help, to maybe use a phone, that's not a FAAFO, okay? That's not a FAAFO. Would you guys agree with that? A FAAFO is there's a chance of danger, okay? They know that. If I go in here, if I put my hand in the cookie jar, I might get it bitten off, you know? That's what makes FAAFOs fun. John Wick is definitely FAAFO. Yes, it is. That's the fun thing about FAAFO, too, is it goes to all different genres. The action genre has tons of FAAFOs, okay? But horror definitely has some, okay? And I'm going to have at least one non-horror movie in here that came to mind, just for fun. Okay, so I'm going to give you a dozen. This is not a ranking. When I get to number 1, that's not going to be the greatest FAAFO movie of all time, okay? So, yeah. I'm just giving you 12 random movies, all right? All right, so we'll start at the bottom here, okay? We'll start with this one. It's a new one. Talk to me. This was the movie that gave me this idea, okay? After I saw this movie, which I freaking loved, by the way, what makes it a FAAFO is they go to this party and there's this hand and they know that it's dangerous if they grab this hand, you know? So it's one of those situations where you're at a party and you know there's some kind of danger and everybody's kind of daring you to do it, you know? And everybody gets to enjoy your reaction, and it's usually harmless if you stay in 90 seconds. But if you go over 90 seconds, then some bad shit can start happening, okay? But on the surface, that's a great idea for a movie, but this movie goes even deeper, you know? And, man, I love the freaking ending of this movie. Wow. This might be one of the best endings I've seen in a few years. Like, I remember I'm sitting in the theater, loving the hell out of this movie, how dark it goes, this character, Mia, how she has a really fucked up background, you know? It just seems like trouble always finds her, you know? And I love characters like that. And then she plays this freaking game. This is like the worst type of person to play a game like this, because it's going to bite her in the ass. And boy, does it. And you're like, as you're watching this movie, you want to give her a little bit of sunlight, but it just it just goes darker and deeper and darker and deeper throughout the whole movie, you know? So you start feeling like, man, this ain't going to have a good ending. This is not going to have a good ending. I'm not saying if it does or not, but that's the feeling, okay? That's the feeling you get. And boy, yeah, it's a great example. It's a pure, dyed-in-the-wool example of a fuck around and find out, okay? Yeah. All right, next one. And guys, let me know if you disagree with me on this, but I think I think The Descent is a really great one, because when they went in that cave, some of them didn't know, so I guess they wouldn't qualify, but Juno knew that there was a chance of danger going into that cave because she didn't have the directions. There's a chance they could get lost, right? So just that was, and there's been stories like this where people, they go hiking somewhere, they go on an excursion and they freaking die. 127 hours. Shit happens all the time, right? And so that's what happens in this movie. But it was the worst imaginable thing possible. There's a whole freaking albino race of blind freaking creatures down there, But boy, is this a great freaking movie. Oh my God. I love The Descent. The Descent is probably, like, if I did like top 10 modern horror movies in like I said, the last 20 years, The Descent might be number one. It might be number one. It is so freaking good. Don't you worry, Jason. Don't you worry. It is so freaking good, The Descent. I love this movie to death. To death. Just because of the emotion. Like, guys, tell me a horror movie that makes you cry. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and admit it. I cried like a bitch when I watched The Descent. It's heartbreaking when you see, like, depending on which version you get, she gets out of the cave and she's crying. You ever cried for, like, pure happiness? Like that somebody got out? And, yeah. Just I think it's just the relationship between Sarah and Juno. That's what really gets me emotional in this movie, because they were friends and this really, really bad thing happened between them and it ruined their friendship. And then they end up going down, and Sarah is in a situation where she feels like she needs to kill her. Can you imagine that, being like, maybe not best friends, but you're pretty damn close. You're part of a freaking core. And getting all the way to the point where you feel like you have to kill that person, because you're so damn hurt. Yeah. This movie touches on emotion big time. Nicholas Vincent. Quickly. The Descent sequel. No. Oh my God. It's sad too, because it's pretty much trying to repeat The Descent, because it's the same type location, but it looks cheaper. The script is horrible. Everything that could go wrong goes wrong in the sequel, as far as like writing a good story. I've watched the sequel maybe twice. They literally have the creatures taking a dump in a freaking pool with some of the victims down, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And there's no way in hell Sarah would ever go back down in there. There's no way in hell. No way in hell anybody would let her go back down there. Okay. So, yeah. All right, next one. Classic right there. Might be another ultimate FAAFO. Okay? This is one of those greedy corporation type movies. Which sucks, because they're not in danger, because they're not going to LV 426. It's the crew that has to go. And they don't really know of the danger, but the reason this is a FAAFO for them is because when John Hurt gets down there with those eggs, he could have just walked away, right? But he got curious, and he looks down there in that egg, and people give Prometheus shit because those two guys, they were messing with those creatures. And that was like one of the biggest complaints against that movie. And I'm thinking, they did that in the original Alien. And you didn't have a problem with it then. Sometimes a character has to make a stupid decision to push the story forward. Okay. Otherwise you don't have a movie. Right. So, and that's what John Hurt's character did in the first Alien. That freaking egg, the parasite came out, got him in the face, and then we were off and running. And what I love about Alien is it's not like an abrupt alien like xenomorph right at the beginning of the movie. No, you got to get through a process to get to the xenomorph, and that just makes it that much scarier. And can you imagine watching Alien in the theater in 1979, not ever seeing a xenomorph in your entire life, not knowing what that parasite was going to turn into? Can you imagine the absolute fear that audience would have when they first saw that freaking creature like lowering down on those chains. And I would pass out. I'd probably pass out. We've seen the xenomorph a million times, so it doesn't affect us now. But man, back then, whew, Alien was scary as fuck. Okay? All right. Next one. Now this one's definitely, there's no debate whatsoever. This is the true definition of a FAAFO right here. Okay? Bunch of idiot criminals going into a blind man's house, but they don't know who they're messing with. They do not know who they're messing with at all. And the blind man, not only is he this kick-ass soldier, but he's got like a dark secret too. He's got a freaking victim down there in the basement, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then to make matters worse, these characters, they're in the dark, you know? So this is one of those movies where, oh my God, he completely slays, you know? And what Jane Levy, what Jane Levy goes through in this movie, whew, brutal. I like the second one too, actually. The second one's pretty good, but I think even in the first movie, even though the blind man is a bad person, there's still an element of likability to the character. So that, I think that's why I never had a problem with the direction they went with him in part 2, because it was more about his daughter in part 2. That's who you were rooting for. You know, he was just kind of a byproduct of it. And if he's the only one that can protect her, then I guess by proxy, you got to like the guy. I get you want him to protect her. That's what it's all about, you know? So, yeah. Yeah, and Don't Breathe is such a great movie. Holy crap. Put Fede Alvarez on the map, too, even though he did Evil Dead before this. After he did this movie, I was like, I'm definitely curious to see what this guy's going to do. All right, here's the one that's not horror, but it's irresistible, and I love it because it's a situation where the cops fuck around and find out. You know, this guy, John Rambo, he just wanted to go get something to eat. He's going into this small town, not hurting anybody, and then this cocky-ass cop pulls up beside him, and he's like a freaking, you know, a thorn in his side the whole time. You know, just leave the guy alone. Just leave the guy alone. But no, what does he do? He keeps constantly pestering him and saying, get out of my town. You're not welcome here. And so Rambo's just like, what the fuck did I do? I just wanted to get something to eat. You know what? Screw you. So he goes back in. And so this is a situation where the cops fuck around and find out. Okay? They should have left the guy alone in the first place. They should have let him go to a diner, get something to eat. We would have never had a Rambo franchise if not for the Brian Dennehy. He pretty much created the Rambo franchise, you know, because he fucked around and he found out, right? So, and there's even a scene in the movie after Rambo is going through all of them. And, oh my God, Dia Dream, Jesus. Rambo is one of the greatest freaking action films ever made. And you know what? The reason it's such a great movie is because it's not like full-blown action. There's a lot of heart to it. There's a lot of tragedy to it. And I think what makes it work so well, too, is the approach that Stallone took to the character. Because originally, the script was supposed to be like 3 hours long. Stallone, he hated it. He was like, my character talks way too much, and he has these really cheesy, stupid lines. So Stallone said, let me rewrite the script. I'll get it down to an hour and 40 minutes. What does he do? This is an actor without an ego. He cuts out almost all of his lines. He says this character should talk with his actions. He should never say a word. And so it makes the end of the movie that much more impactful because he kind of just has this explosion of emotion at the end. He starts talking about the shit that he has had to put up with as a Vietnam vet. And man, Stallone gives a very underrated, beautiful performance at the end of this movie. It is great. But he pushes Brian Dennehy's character up against this tree after he goes through all. He doesn't kill any of them. You know, that's his warning. I could easily kill every single one of you just like that. But I'm letting you live. And so he tells him, he's got his knife up against his throat, and he says, don't push it. Don't push it, or I'll give you a war you won't believe. You know? But the guy's ego gets the best of him, and he wants to keep coming after him. So, man, oh my God, I freaking love First Blood. Jesus, that's a great freaking movie right there. Dia Dream, you need to check out First Blood. Wow, rent it. It's so good. Okay, next one. Boy, this might be like, if I had to do a number one as far as like the situation and stupidity, it might have to be Flatline. Am I right, guys? I mean, that's stupid. These doctors, these young, they're students, I think, right? Great movie, by the way. But they want to pretty much kill themselves to see if there's any kind of afterlife, you know, because I think they all come from different backgrounds. You might have one of them that's like a Christian. I believe one of them is an atheist. I think it's Kevin Bacon's character. But, you know, they want to find out if there's anything in the afterlife. Or what happens when you die? Does anything happen? And they have this whole thing where they can be brought back to life, you know? And it's kind of like Talk to Me, where the longer they stay under, the more dangerous it gets. And, you know, of course, it's a movie, and they're going to ride that line, and then they keep trying to one-up each other, and then it gets really, really dark and heavy. They did a remake of this movie that is an absolute fucking abomination of a movie. It is. How dare... And you know what? I'm not mad that you tried to remake Flatliners, even though I don't think you should remake movies that are great. And Flatliners is great. Like, what's the point? You know, other than money? But don't make a bad movie. Don't make a stereotypical, shiny CW-like movie. No, don't do that. I hated it. I hated it. I'll never watch it again. It has no right. Ultimate FAAFO. Ultimate fuck around and find out movie, for sure. Yeah, great freaking cast, right, Jason? Jesus. You got freaking Julia Roberts. You got Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, Billy Baldwin, and Kevin Bacon. Man, really great, really great. Lost Boys FAAFO. Guys, let's think about that real quick. Hold on. Is the Lost Boys a FAAFO? Because sometimes you got to think about it. Well, I mean, I guess it is because, especially in terms of Grandpa's living in a town where he knows vampires live, right? Yeah, I guess so, because also Kiefer Sutherland, he's tempting Michael to try out this, to do things that are dangerous, like hanging from the freaking trestles, So I think Erica might be onto something. Would you guys agree? I think it might be a FAAFO, right? Gremlins, another really great example. I mean, he's giving, you got to freaking, don't get them wet. Don't feed them after midnight. And I always forget the third one. What's the third one, guys? Right? Don't feed them after midnight. Don't get them wet. Damn, I always forget the third one. Damn it, guys. But there was 3 rules that he had to follow, okay? So automatically, you got 3 chances of finding out, okay? There's no way, light. Do not get light. Thank you, Vinny. Yeah, don't get light on them, okay? That's a dangerous freaking pet. You should not have a freaking mogwai, okay? You don't want to take that chance. Because if you get them wet, they're going to multiply. And how are you going to give them a bath, right? There's no way. We get them dry cleaned? I don't know. And if you feed them after midnight, they become a killer freaking gremlin, okay? So you got to be really stupid to own a mogwai, okay? I think you got to be really, really stupid, all right? I think that's it. This might be the stupidest FAAFO, okay? I think the normal person, if they knew those rules, then they probably wouldn't take the chance, right, guys? Does this count because those rules are vague? He was bound to break one without breaking. Yeah, of course. But he knew Erica. He should have just got a dog, a puppy, right? There's a level of stupidity that you put your freaking hand in the mousetrap, you're going to get bit. Okay? Okay, here's one. Now tell me why this is a FAAFO, okay? This is a test, okay? I'm going to test you guys. Why is Halloween Kills a FAAFO? Right? And I think it's an easy answer. I think you guys will know the answer to this. But I was thinking, most of the Halloween movies aren't really FAAFOs. Okay? Well, I guess maybe they are after the first one, because if you keep living, if you still choose to live in that town, but you can't just get up and move. That's expensive, right? You got to figure things out. So, I'll take my chances. I'll let Myers come at me. But Kills especially is a FAAFO. There is no release date for Scream 7. Yeah. No one knows. Not even the president of the United States knows when Scream 7 comes out. That's how secretive it is. All right, yeah, maybe there's ends could fit in there too. I don't know. But I'm trying to think, why would ends be a FAAFO? I don't know. But Kills is a FAAFO because of Tommy Doyle, okay? Because Tommy Doyle, brave as he was, and guys, as time has went on, and every time I watch Halloween Kills, I kind of like Tommy as a character. I think there are characters that we like that fuck up, because they're brave. Tommy Doyle, he was scared, but he was brave. And, he did what most people probably wouldn't do. He said, you know what? Somebody's got to fight the guy. So he rallied everybody up, but boy, did he find out, Sometimes it's honorable, I guess, to try to be the FAAFO, but he paid the price. Boy, did he pay the price, right? He underestimated Myers. You do not want to fuck with Myers. You're going to get killed, okay? And that's what happened to him. And what I love about Kills is that look in his eye at the end of the movie. After all had been said and done, he thought he got him. He had all the crew there. They beat him to death. They thought they beat him to death with the bats and whatnot. And they shot him. But then he gets back up. And I love the look on Tommy's face when he sees all of the mob getting killed one by one. And he knows his turn's coming. That's what I love about that scene. He's like, shit. As time goes on, I think I like Tommy as a character because at least he tried, But, how do you beat Myers, right? When he's in tip-top form, I know a lot of people complain about Corey manhandling Myers, and I've explained it to you guys 5,000 times. And most of you know the answer, but you don't like it, okay? But, Ends is simple. It's really simple. Ends is Myers after a hella beating. He's old as fuck. His body can't handle anymore. He's on his way down, right? And this is Corey. This isn't a human being. Corey actually had the evil in him at the time. The evil gave him some strength. He was on his way up. So as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, yeah, I understand it. I get it. That's evil versus evil. Evil on its way up versus evil on its way down. And it was a tough fight. I think if Corey was, if Corey was just a regular human being, yeah, Myers would have killed him in a fucking heartbeat. But it wasn't what people wanted. And I think Corey was the thing there. If you hated Corey as a character, you weren't going to like Halloween Ends. It just wasn't going to happen, Whereas I really enjoyed Corey as a character. I loved the character. So, yeah. He's our spirit animal. That's right, Erica. Yeah. Okay. Here's the one Jason was talking about. This might be the ultimate FAAFO. Okay? That the box, that box is not safe, all right? There's this mystery behind it. There's this legend of it. That there's a chance, even though you're opening up what you think might be paradise. And I think paradise does exist inside the box. I don't think they've ever found it yet. They always end up opening up the fucking S&M bar, right? But yeah, when Pinhead comes out, you could see the look on their face. Oh shit, I just royally fucked up. Okay, I'm about to find out. Let me ask you this, guys. As far as like all the movies I've been through so far on this countdown, what's the one movie that you would not want to fuck around and find out? Okay, I think it might be Hellraiser. I mean, all of them would be really bad situations to be in. But if I had to not be in one of them, I think it would be Hellraiser, because you could possibly suffer for eternity, right? Next one, Jaws. I mean, this might be the easiest one to avoid. Just don't go in the water, right? Stay out of the water. Yeah, your businesses are going to suffer. You're going to be on welfare for the summer, but you'll be alive, right? Go to a different beach. Who knows, right? Go to a beach where there's no shark, right? You don't even have to move, really. All you have to do is drive. Get in your car, drive for like, say, 2 hours, okay? 2 hours. Even do some homework first and find out, hey, is this beach right here, are there any shark attacks? No? Okay. Kids, get your floats. All right, let's load the car up. Let's head. We'll be there in 2 hours, okay? This is the easiest avoidable FAAFO, all right? But, Brody, he doesn't learn his lesson. He's sitting there fighting a fucking shark. Like, Jaws is so good. That movie's so good because they convince you that these people need to enter that water, They convince you. And what's crazy is they keep going back in the water, It's not a one-time deal. They go in, they get eaten, some of them come out. What do? They go back in, some of them get eaten again, and then they come back out. And what does Brody say? We got to go in there and we got to kill the shark. So they go back in, Quint gets half his fucking body eaten off, and then they come back out. It's the dumbest thing ever, okay? They should have shot the shark up into space. That's what they should have done. So, yeah. Somebody mentioned this next one, and it's a good one, on Killer Flicks. Predator 2. Predator 2. Is the first Predator a FAAFO? No, because they were already there, and they didn't know that the danger was there, right? So if you don't know, then that doesn't count. But if you willingly go into there. So what makes Predator 2 a FAAFO is Gary Busey, because Gary Busey is an idiot. And he got greedy, and his team, they wanted to research the Predator, and so they're stupid. And so they try to lure him into not just a normal place with the comfortable air conditioning. Let's take him into a freezer, so that way he can kill us and we'll be cold when we die. So, yeah. So it didn't work out. But Predator 2 is a good one. I like Predator 2. That's it. That's it. We did it, guys. That was all 12 of them. What'd you think? Was that fun? I like thinking outside the box and coming up with interesting rankings for you guys, not really even a ranking, just a top 10. I call it 10 movies, but what's up, guys? You are at the end of the DD Live clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching. And if you want to watch more, you can go over here. You can go over here, click on one of those. And hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.